Hello everyone, this is Moby the Yarny, and this is part 2 for the Summer Night Shawl. And I thank you for joining me again. And I would like to apologize because I forgot to put in the description box the written shawl pattern. So in part 2, I will put all of the shawl pattern in the description box. Okay, so I need to adjust this a little bit. Okay. All right, I'm going to begin with row 15. No, that's not where we were, is it? Okay. So you should have ended with the four more rows. We did two rows of the post stitches, and there was 4 more rows to do. Okay, so we're going to begin with V-stitch rows. 2 V-stitch rows. So we're going to begin here, and we have to chain 5. And then we're going to do a double back into that same stitch. Okay, can't see that very well. Okay, we're going to chain 1 on this row only. Okay, we're going to go over 3, and we're going to do the V-stitch in the third over, which will be a single V-stitch, double, chain 2, and double. We're going to skip 3 stitches. Just for this row, we're going to use the top stitch. Not chain 1. Okay, we're going to continue with skipping over to the third stitch and doing the V-stitch in there. No, what's wrong with my fingers today? And there is construction next door, but they're just removing siding, so it's not as loud as it usually is. You might hear a little bit of noise, but it's not a lot. They're done with the roof part, so I think it's just demolition over there right now. Okay, skip over 3. And I will be putting in the description box how many repeats I did on the original shawl. To get it the size that I have it right now. But you can make it whatever size you choose. Mine turned out pretty long on me, but I am a short person. I'm only 5'2". I wear women's petite clothes when I can find them. They're hard to find, but those are what fit me the best. So it's good to make your own clothes because then they fit you the way your body's made. So every shape is different. Okay, we're still skipping over to the third stitch and doing a single V-stitch, which is a double, chain 2, double. We're almost to the center. And we're going to do a single V-stitch in the center. And we skipped one on that side, so we'll skip one on this side. And then we'll start going down this other side. Count over 3. Do our V-stitches. I know people do V-stitches different ways too, but I've always done them with a double, chain 2, double. For a single V-stitch, I think I made a whole afghan out of V-stitches before when I was first learning to crochet. That was many, many moons ago. Okay, we're getting close to the end. So a few more to go. Skip 3 spaces. Double, chain 2, double. Here we're going to chain 1, then we're going to go into that last stitch. Then we're going to chain 5 and turn our work. And this is going to be the V-stitch row also. You're going to V-stitch in every V-stitch without chaining 1 in between. Single V-stitches, which is double, double, chain 2, and double. Back into the V-stitch. Oh, I don't like knots in my yarn. And we'll take care of that in a bit. Just remember to do your count before you go on to the next row to make sure you have the same amount of stitches on both sides. So you don't find out when you're a couple rows ahead that your count is off. You have to backtrack to see where it's messed up at. No, I must have passed right up my center point, but there it is. If I'm going too fast for you, you can go to the description box, hit the gear icon, and you can slow it down. Or you can just push pause and catch up, and then that's what I usually do. I pause it until I catch up, and then I push go again. If I'm following somebody that's too fast for me. Okay, we're at the last row. We're going to chain 3 and turn our work. I want to move this up a tiny bit so you can get a wider look here. Okay, we are going to do the clusters on this row. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to do 2 more doubles in that same stitch. And then we're going to chain 2. Okay, and in the first V-stitch here, let me show you what we're doing here with the original one we have here. We are doing this cluster row right here. Okay. So we're going to skip this first V-stitch. We're going to do, they're called DC clusters, double crochet. We're going to do 4. We're chain 2. We're going to go into this one. We're going to start the double crochet. That didn't help much there, did it? So we're going to start it. We're going to stop right there. And we're going to do another one. And stop right there. We have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to start 4 of them and stop before we complete. 1 more to go. Okay, and then when we have 5 loops left, then we're going to come through all of them. Then we're going to chain 3 again. And that's going to be our first DC cluster. Then we're going to go to our next V-stitch. We're going to do the same thing. We'll start them, leaving the last loop on the hook. You do that 4 times till you have the 5 on there, and then you bring it through all 5, chain 3. Okay, we go to our next V-stitch, yarn over, take it through, bring it through 2, leave the last one on, yarn over, take it through, bring it through 2, leave the last one on. We're going to do that for the 4, leaving the last one on. And that is our double crochet clusters, 4 together, and chain 3. We're going to do that in all of these V-stitches, making the 4 double crochet clusters, leaving the last stitch on the hook, and then you pull them all together, and then chain 3. And then we're going to the next V-stitch. Now, if you don't want to do these on your shawl, you can go right into the fans here again instead of doing the clusters. I just thought it was something different. It adds some more openness to the shawl. And if you want to add more V-stitches instead of just 2 rows, you could do that too. But once you get going on it, it's pretty easy. Just remember to chain the 3 in between. I think I only put 3 or 4 V-stitch rows on the entire shawl. I mean, not V-stitch, cluster rows. Okay, and that brings us to the center, and I'm going to do a double V-stitch in the center this time, which is 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Chain 3 afterwards, and then go right back into that first V-stitch with your 4 clusters. Okay, a few more to go. Okay, and the last one, we're going into the last stitch up here and doing the 3 double crochets. And we're going to chain 1 and turn. In the last row that I'm going to show you here, we're going to do 2 singles back into that stitch. We're going to be doing singles all the way across. Do singles in the top of these 2 doubles from the row below, and in the chain 3 spaces, you're going to do 3 singles in those and skip to the next chain 3 space, do 3 singles in those. You're going to do that all the way across. Just keep putting in the 3 singles. We just want to get a little thickness in that row. So 3 singles all the way across those chain 3s that we did. And we're skipping the tops of those clusters. Okay, when you get to your center point up here, you're going to do 2 singles, chain 3, and 2 singles to keep your point nice and sturdy. Okay, so that is the first section of the shawl, and that's the first repeating rows of the shawl. And let's see here. On this one, I actually only did 2 sections of, no, 3. I did 3 sections of the 4 DC clusters. So, and then the ending, when I ended it, I put I knew when I was starting to run low on the yarn, I ended it by doing a cluster row, and then I did the singles right after that. Then I just did one V-stitch row, and then I ended it with the fan row, just to give it an edge, because it already gives it a nice edge. So repeating sections, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8 repeating rows, which would be where actually is where my colors did the changes themselves, if I count them as repeating rows. I ended this one here with the fans, and then I ended this one also with fans. I extended this one by adding 2 V-stitches on the end. This one was the one we started with. I started those with 2 of the post, and then I did V-stitches and ended it with the fans. This one I began with the V-stitches, with the post stitches. So I alternated between post stitches and V-stitches. And then when I wanted to break it up is where I put the DC clusters. And then I would start over again with V-stitches, ending with the fans, and then post stitches. I always did post stitches after the fans. And then if I wanted to break it up, you could add a row of singles if you don't want to use the cluster stitches, and then start your V-stitches again, which your V-stitches usually end in the fan rows, and then the fan rows begin your post stitches. But here I did post stitches and then into clusters without doing the V-stitch. And these are V-stitches after the clusters. You can decide which way you want to do your repeating rows, but they're all repeating rows: fans, V-stitches, and post stitches, with a few of the cluster stitches in there, and a couple rows of singles. But yeah, my voice is not good today. Sorry. We went camping over the weekend. It was a little chilly at night, but that is how this is panning out. And I will put the whole thing that we went over for part 1 and this one, it will all be written in the description box. And I was kicking myself. I'm like, why didn't I put that in there? I'm like, I usually put the whole written thing in the description box. So this is it says we're up to row 19. So I will put that written in the description box. And I thank you for joining me, and I hope that yours turns out really nice and that you picked a good yarn for it. I'm undecided on my next project, which one I'm going to use, which yarn I will use for my next. I have 2 that I'm thinking of. I have this one, which is Nova, and then I have the other one, which is Sedona, that I showed before, I think, which I might just name them that name if I use either one of those. But they're both sparkles. This one has a sparkle, but I don't know if you can see it that well, but I like both of those. But those are in the works for my next shawls that I'll be doing. But I'm going to finish this one also in this colorway because I like how it's doing. So, but I thank you for joining me, and I hope that you can finish this one out with your repeat rows. And I am going to put my email address in the description box also. The one that I actually use, not the one that they gave me for YouTube. So if you have any questions with this shawl, you can ask me those. Okay, but I thank you for joining me and hope you have a wonderful Monday. And it's raining and cold here today. It's only, I don't even know if it got up to 60 yet today. But I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much.